If you've been looking for a budgeting app, you have probably heard of Rocket Money. Well, I want to compare Rocket Money and Monarch Money today so that you can get an in-depth look at all the features that you should be considering as you decide on an app that is right for you. Now, a big caveat here that I will always promote is that no budgeting app will work for you if you do not have a solid budgeting foundation in place, meaning if you don't know how much to put towards your goals, to put toward debt, to how much to be spending on things like groceries and shopping. If you don't know these numbers, there is no budgeting app that is going to work for you. Now, a budgeting app can help you get to those numbers, but it also does not help you necessarily create the foundation that you need with good financial principles. So just keep that in mind as you are looking for budgeting apps. If you've been hopping between budgeting apps, it might not be the app, it might be the way you are budgeting and how your foundation is created. So just keep that in mind. I'm a financial coach. I help my clients create cash flow systems so that they implement within budgeting apps. So as I review budgeting apps, as I'm looking at the new software, the new tech, I definitely have my families in mind. These are households, kids, families, business owners, variable income earners. All of these situations help me kind of determine the best features in each budgeting app that I come across. So let's dive into it so you can determine which one is best for you. So first things first, let's address pricing. With Rocket Money's pricing is an interesting scale. You can kind of choose what you think is fair and you pick that dollar amount and you're good to go. This is a monthly membership. It does not seem like they offer an annual membership, and their free version is actually pretty nice. It does get you what they advertise, which is you being able to see all of your subscriptions and bills very quickly to determine if you are overpaying for something, if you're paying for multiple subscriptions, if there's things that you forgot to cancel. Like that is all within the free membership. Now, they also promote this ability to cancel within the app. From my research, it works like just very minimally, like it doesn't work all the time. But you also have to you have to actually be paying for it in order to get that benefit, but also the benefit isn't that great from what I've researched. So that is something to consider, but it is an interesting pricing model. Monarch Money is actually cheaper than Rocket Money if you get their yearly fee and you hop on with one of their promotions that they're running. This one right now is 30% off the first year with code WELCOME, so it ends up being cheaper than Rocket Money. Otherwise, if they're not running a promotion, it's $100 a year or $15 a month if you want to go with a monthly route. Now, Rocket Money's biggest selling point is this idea that you can log in and track all your bills in one place, and so you can make sure that you're not overpaying or subscribing to too many things. And so within this app, you're able to pull up and very clearly see all of your bills, subscriptions, all in one place. You have this ability to click on that bill and say, hey, I want you to cancel this for me right within the app. Again, it works minimally from my research that I've done. The other thing it does is it offers this idea that you can negotiate your bills. They will go in and negotiate these bills so that they can get you a lower rate. But here's the thing, they do charge, it looks like, about 30 to 60% of the savings they give you in order to do that service and have them do it for you. And that's 30 to 60% on the savings for an entire year, which I think is outrageous. Please don't do that. Like, please just take the time to negotiate yourself. You're probably going to do a better job than them if you just do a little bit of research on good negotiation tactics for your bills and like for internet, your rent, or whatever it is that you're trying to negotiate. I'd really recommend not using a service like this just because the price can be outrageous. I mean, that can be a lot of money depending on your bills and how much they're able to save you. And you could easily just do it yourself with a quick phone call, email. So that with that in mind, just consider that. I really wouldn't use that service, but it's available in the Rocket Money budgeting app if that's something you really want. Now, they have a nice calendar view, but also so does Monarch Money. Monarch Money has a pretty decent calendar view. As you can see within this calendar view, you're able to get an idea of all the bills that are going to come out for you, but also a list option. And again, a great picture of what's coming due for you and what you need to expect as far as bills, keeping track of those subscriptions. Now, Monarch Money, it does take a little bit of upfront heavy lifting in a way that you need to still go find these transactions, but once you get them all into your budgeting app, it does a great job at reminding you when these bills are coming due. Now, it does have an ability to sweep and find these things for you. You do just need to go and approve them, make sure that they are correct. So it just takes a little bit more heavy lifting. But I mean, Rocket Money does as well in a way. Like neither app is perfect at identifying all of your bills and subscriptions. So it does take a little bit of tweaking on your end to really review. Now, I want to point out that any budgeting app you pick is going to help you find subscriptions that you forgot to cancel. Just by opening any budgeting app and starting to go through your transactions in a very mindful way, you're going to find things that are areas that you can save on through your bills and subscriptions. So any app can do that for you. Really, Rocket Money just does seem like it does allow for a big part of its interface to be designed and dedicated to that purpose, which is really cool. So that can be helpful for a lot of people. Now, moving on to the budgeting features. Inside Rocket Money, the budget is actually very simple, and the onboarding process is actually really nice. It walks you through how to start setting up your budget, things to think about. It pulls in data, and it's like, hey, these are what we're recognizing as your bills and utilities. Is this all correct? And it brings up a really clean, simple budget. You have your earnings, you have your bills, all of your bills and utilities, and this is going to include your subscriptions. And it leaves you with this like left to spend. And with this left to spend, you can then add different categories to better track your left to spend. But it allows you to just see like, hey, after your bills are taken care of, you have all this spending money. Where do you want to put it? Maybe groceries, books, maybe you just have a big catch-all for everything that you want to spend money on. You don't really want to budget by specific category. There's a lot of flexibility with a very simple budget. It gives you this nice big number of what's left to spend. It gives you a daily number to be paying attention to so that you can stay on track with it. So it's a very simple budgeting, and I do really like the layout. Now, it is simple, meaning that when you change your categories, it does have a set amount of categories that are available, and you can't delete them, unfortunately, that drives me a little crazy. I hate when budgeting apps have a category like pets, and I can't delete it because I don't have a dog, so I don't want a pets category, and that drives me crazy. But you can add categories that are more relevant to you. So, and they don't have too many ones that you can't delete anyway. There's not a ton of them, like Mint. If you're a Mint refugee, then there were lots there that you could not delete, and it drove us all crazy. But in Rocket Money, they don't have that many categories, and then you can add lots of custom categories to help you with your budgeting. Now, the thing I feel like is missing here is this ability to do subcategories. Like I said, Rocket Money, this is a very simple budgeting app, whereas Monarch Money, you have way more flexibility in the way you set up your categories. You can drag and drop, you can delete, you can move, you can edit, you can change, you can make this whatever you want it. You could have partner 1 expenses, partner 2 expenses instead of transport and housing. You can make really anything. And the thing I like about this is that it allows for a greater level of complexity. Like you might not just want all your bills and utilities in one place like Rocket Money. You may want to separate out your bills and utilities, like bills for your home and then bills for like insurance, subscriptions, your phone, like unrelated home bills. You may have a rental property that needs to have its own set of categories. And that definitely is not going to be covered in Rocket Money, but it can be in Monarch Money. Monarch Money does a really great job at allowing you to have a greater and deeper level of complexity, which allows you to then get the data that you need in order to budget correctly. When it comes to actually categorizing your transactions, both apps do a good job at automatically categorizing, but it's also very easy to change the category. When you go in to change the category for something, it's a very simple drop down to change it. You can also add notes. You can split the transaction if it's for multiple things. You can also add rules. Now, these rules are very simple. You can only do it based on the merchant name or the dollar amount. So very simple rules, but for the most part, does the job well. With Monarch Money, on the other hand, going to categorize things is also very, very simple, but it also has a lot more details that you can add. For one thing, it has the ability to do tags, which Rocket Money does not have, and tags is a great way to get more detail in your reports. You can do notes, you can attach these things to the goals. You can click on this needs review by, and when you click on this drop down, you can assign it to either partner one. And if you add your spouse in here, then it has an option for John and Jane. You can pick who needs to review this transaction so that you can involve your partner, and you're not really sure what that transaction is. You need them to review it. You can also upload receipts and attachments if you needed to. So a lot of options when it comes to categorization and managing your expenses. The rule setting is also a lot deeper in Monarch Money. Rules can not only be made by merchant and amount, which is the same as Rocket Money, but it can also be made by how the category comes in automatically, but also by what account. So this is really helpful when you have like a business account. You want to make sure all business account transactions are categorized in a certain way, or if you have separate accounts as for you and your partner, and you want to make sure like all of John's transactions goes to John's personal expenses when it comes out of his account. So the amount of rules that you can set goes very in depth, which allows you to really set up a lot of automations when it comes to Monarch Money. And that way you're not having to sort through tons and tons of transactions all the time to recategorize. You can really set it and forget it, and this will help you maintain more complex situations. The reporting when it comes to Rocket Money, the reporting is there's a lot to be desired. It's very basic, very simple. There's not a lot of detail. You can't filter by a lot except for like the dates that you want to look at, but you can't really do much as far as getting a lot of detail or looking at your trends. Whereas Monarch Money's reporting is very in-depth. You can filter by a whole lot of different transactions and categories, and you can look at very specific areas in your spending so that you can, again, monitor trends and see what is changing so that you can create accurate budgets. And finally, the net worth page is also in Rocket Money. Very simple, very easy to read. You have the assets, you have the debt, and you have everything listed here. With Monarch Money's features of looking at your net worth, you have some nice graphs. You have a very easy way to get balances very quickly on what all of your accounts are, so you can monitor everything in one place. A couple other distinguishing factors on each of these budgeting apps is that Rocket Money does have the ability to look at your credit report and monitor your credit. I think that's awesome. I haven't really played with that myself in this app, but it looks great. I don't think it's necessarily a deal breaker that Monarch Money does not have credit reporting. I think that's really easy to get elsewhere, but it's really cool that they have it in this app. Again, the onboarding was very simple. Rocket Money did a really good job at walking you through step by step how to set up your budget, how to evaluate your spending. Rocket Money did do a superior job in the onboarding process. Monarch Money has a very simple layout. I feel like it's very intuitive. There is a little bit more cleanup and maintenance to get this to the point where it gives you very visual and very detailed data, but it doesn't take long because of all the features it gives you to help you clean up this data. It also has superior couples budgeting features. While it's not necessarily perfect or designed for couples budgeting, it does have lots of features that make budgeting for couples very easily, and that it really comes from the ability to tag your spouse in different transactions when you don't know what they're for, being able to make categories based on one spouse or the other spouse, having each spouse has their own login, which I think Rocket Money does as well. They can have their own login, but just a lot of the features make it easier for a couple to maintain their budget together in Monarch Money over Rocket Money. Overall, the final verdict is that Rocket Money is a really, really great budget for people who are just getting started budgeting. And I'm talking about like simple situations. I'm thinking like college students, early career, single adults, not like a lot of bills and expenses, and they just want to start getting an eye on cash flow. I think Rocket Money is phenomenal for that purpose. If you want a budgeting app that is going to grow with you, that will allow for greater complexity, if you have a family or a business owner, have variable income, bonuses, rental properties, really any of those levels of complexity, you're going to want to go with Monarch Money. Monarch Money just can handle much more than Rocket Money can when it comes to reporting and the budgeting features, and it can really grow with you as you grow your financial situation. So feel free to check out my YouTube channel if you're interested in learning more about Monarch Money. There's tons of videos about Monarch Money on the YouTube channel. Make sure you check out the comments and leave comments if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you feel like I missed anything. Make sure to check those out, see how others are feeling about these two apps and which ones they found more success in. It might help you out as well. Thank you so much, and I hope this helped you find the budgeting app that is right for you.